And then kind of briefly talking about I mean, I don't know if anybody researched any laws or anything else like that. Olivia, you mentioned like some places where being queer kind of wasn't even legal, or kind of things like that. Did you? I mean, maybe Joseph and Serena, did you choose Spain in any way, shape, or form for the laws, whatever they may be, or kind of acceptance of queer people? Or Olivia, did you kind of notice a big difference in some of the countries, or did you think, oh, this would be a good program for me?
I can go ahead and jump on this, but um, I just found that while looking for a program, it was always a back thought. Like I sort of had to think about like when choosing a country. So I did do some research into it, and like my area that I was in was like one of the most like queer areas in like Europe. So I just really wanted to surround myself in that type of environment, and it also like started leaning into like my thesis work I'm doing now about like Hispanic queer communities, which I knew I wanted to do in the summer before. So yeah, I think I had to do a lot with like research and finding just areas that I think I myself could be compatible with.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't do actually any it wasn't really like a deciding factor in my selection of my program, but it was sort of something that almost took me by surprise, if like I can explain, like sort of I always kind of knew that I wanted to go Spain, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, oh, I should probably actually like research how it's going to be as like a queer person in Spain. So, which I think is kind of what Joseph was saying earlier, that like in the US it's sort of very expressive and in sort of all forms and like walks of life, whereas like um you kind of had to realize that like maybe in a different country it's not the same way. So
And then with my experience, we were given like little debriefs before we embarked or we disembarked. And so those would kind of talk about the general rules or what things that we should do, or even in certain countries, like even like direct expressive forms of like hugging or kissing, like that is not seen as very appropriate. So, and that's just between friends, let alone people who are queer. So I guess I did look into those, but I think also I learned about a lot of these countries in my classes, and so I understood like a basic of their government and the rules to begin with.